Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My dear brothers and sisters, my beloved friends, lean in close and hear me well. Success is not a lightning bolt striking the sky. It is not a race run at the speed of desperation. No, success, real success, is a marathon, not a sprint. You see, the world will try to fool you. It will tell you that greatness comes in an instant, that overnight you will rise and shine, that doors will swing open because you knocked once. But I am here to tell you the truth. The truth is that greatness is carved out of patience. It is stitched together with perseverance. It is the quiet footstep after a stumble, the steady breath after a storm. Success is not the firework that fades in seconds. Success is the sunrise that comes without fail after the longest, coldest night. It is the mountain that stands unmoved while the winds howl, while the rains beat against it, while the seasons change around it. My dear brothers and sisters, success is not something that comes rushing toward you like a wild wind. It is not a sudden moment of glory, not a flash of gold placed in your hands without struggle. No, success is slow, steady, and patient. It moves like a river carving through stone, shaping its course over time, never hurried, never uncertain. It is a journey, one that demands faith, persistence, and the kind of strength that does not waver when the road stretches long. We live in a world that thrives on speed. Everything is instant, fast food, fast money, fast fame. People want shortcuts, quick results, immediate rewards. They want to climb to the top without making the climb. But hear me when I say anything built too quickly will crumble just as fast. A house thrown together overnight will not stand through the storm. A tree that has not taken time to root will be the first to fall when the wind blows. What lasts, what endures, is what is built with care, with patience, with time. Look at the greats, the ones whose names echo through time, the ones who left a mark so deep it could not be erased. They did not wake up one morning and find success waiting for them at the foot of their bed. No, they worked. They struggled, they fell, and got back up again. They moved forward even when progress seemed invisible, even when the finish line was nowhere in sight, because they understood success is not about speed, it is about endurance. There will be moments when you question if you are on the right path, days when you feel like the world is moving ahead while you are left behind. You will see others rise quickly, watch them bask in sudden glory, and wonder if you are doing something wrong. But do not let that shake you. Do not let the illusion of speed deceive you. A candle that burns too fast does not burn for long. The ones who rush to the top often tumble just as quickly, for they did not build the foundation needed to stay there. Your journey is your own. It will not look like anyone else's, and that is exactly how it should be. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Every lesson learned, every setback faced is shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you. Growth happens in the unseen moments, in the quiet hours when no one is clapping, no one is watching. It happens when you show up for yourself, when you choose to keep going despite the weariness, despite the waiting. And let me tell you, waiting is not wasting, waiting is building. The seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, but beneath the soil it is growing, stretching, preparing for its time. And when it finally breaks through, it does not question whether it belongs. It knows. It knows because it has taken the time to root itself deep, to establish a strength that cannot be shaken. So do not fear the slow climb. Do not be discouraged if your success takes time. Keep working, keep believing, keep showing up, because the victory that is earned through patience, through effort, through resilience, that is the victory that lasts. That is the kind of success that will not slip through your fingers like sand, but will stay with you firm and steady like the mountain that cannot be moved. And when you finally reach that place you have worked so hard for, you will stand there not just as someone who succeeded, but as someone who grew, who endured, who became. And that, my dear, is the greatest success of all. The world will try to hurry you. It will whisper in your ear telling you that you are running out of time, that if you do not reach your goal now, you never will. It will tempt you with shortcuts, with promises of overnight success, with stories of people who rose in an instant. It will make you believe that if you are not moving fast, you are not moving at all. But hear me when I say, do not be fooled. The race is not always to the swift, and the prize does not always go to the one who rushes ahead. Real success, the kind that lasts, the kind that fills you with pride and peace, does not happen in the blink of an eye. It takes time, and that is exactly how it should be. There is a pressure that comes from looking around and seeing others move faster than you. You see people reaching milestones, achieving things you have only begun to dream of, and you start to question yourself. Am I too slow? Am I falling behind? Is something wrong with me? But let me tell you something. Timing is different for everyone. Just because someone else is running ahead does not mean you should abandon your own pace. The path that is meant for you cannot be taken by anyone else. And as long as you are moving forward, you are exactly where you need to be. The world does not always reward patience, but patience rewards those who honor it. The strongest structures are not built in a day. The tallest trees do not grow overnight. Anything of real value, anything that stands the test of time, is created slowly, carefully, with intention. If you try to rush the process, you risk weakening your foundation. And what good is a success that cannot hold its own weight? What good is reaching the top if you are not prepared to stay there? People chase speed because they confuse movement with progress. They believe that being busy, being in constant motion means they are getting somewhere. But movement without direction is just noise. It is running in circles, chasing something that slips further away the faster you go. Progress, real progress, is about moving with purpose, not just moving for the sake of it. It is about taking each step with intention, about building something that will last beyond the moment. There is no shame in taking your time. There is no failure in being deliberate. If you are learning, if you are growing, if you are becoming stronger with every step, then you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. The world will not always understand this. It will not always celebrate the slow and steady, but you are not here to please the world. You are here to build something meaningful, something real. So let the world rush, let it race ahead in a frenzy, but you move with purpose. You build with patience. You walk your path knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and when your time comes, you will stand firm, not because you hurried to the top, but because you climbed with wisdom, with strength, with faith. And when you look back, when you see how far you have come, you will not regret a single moment. You will not wish you had moved faster, only that you had trusted yourself more. Because the world may not have rewarded your patience, but patience will have rewarded you. Success is not loud in its making. It does not announce itself with grand gestures or flashing lights. It is not found in the clamor of applause or the noise of recognition. No, success is built in the quiet, in the stillness where no one is watching, where no one is cheering. It is formed in the early mornings when you rise before the sun, in the late nights when exhaustion knocks, but you keep going. It is shaped in the unseen, in the uncelebrated, in the moments where it is just you and your effort, just you and your belief, just you and the work that must be done. It is easy to think that success is only real when others see it, that progress only matters when it is noticed. But hear me. Greatness does not begin in the spotlight. It does not come from the validation of others. It is born in the solitude of discipline, in the commitment to keep showing up even when no one acknowledges it. The foundation of success is built long before the world recognizes it. There will be days when you wonder if any of it matters. When the hours feel long and the results seem invisible. When you pour your energy, your heart, your soul into something and there is no applause, no reward, no proof that what you are doing is making a difference, And in those moments, doubt will creep in. It will tell you that you are wasting your time, that if no one sees your effort, it must not be real. But let me tell you this, the most powerful things grow in silence. The roots of the strongest trees do not break the surface, but they are there, holding firm, deep, and unshakable. Do not let the absence of recognition make you think your work is in vain. The effort you put in when no one is watching is the very thing that prepares you for the moment when the world does take notice. Because success is not an accident. It does not happen overnight. It is the result of the hours, the days, the years of dedication that no one sees. It is built in the decision to keep going when quitting would be easier. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is necessary. It is the willingness to put in the work, to stay committed, to trust the process even when the progress is slow. It is understanding that every small step, every unseen effort is shaping you into the person who will one day stand tall in their success. And when that day comes, you will not just be someone who has succeeded. You will be someone who has earned it, someone who has built something real, something strong, something that cannot be taken away. So let the world be loud. Let it celebrate quick victories and fleeting fame. But you stay steady. You keep working in the quiet, knowing that what is built in silence will one day speak for itself. And when that day comes, when all that effort finally rises to the surface, you will not need to prove yourself to anyone. Your success will do the speaking for you. There will be days when the weight of the journey feels too much to bear, days when your feet are heavy, when your spirit is tired, when doubt sits beside you like an old friend. You will question if the road is worth it, if the effort you are pouring in will ever lead to something greater. The voice in your mind will whisper, why keep going? Why push through when nothing seems to change? And in those moments, in those quiet battles that no one else can see, you will have a choice to give in to the exhaustion, to let doubt take the lead, or to dig deep, deeper than you ever have before, and find the strength to keep moving forward. Success is not won in the moments when everything feels easy. No, it is forged in the fire of difficulty, in the struggle, in the days when quitting feels like the only option. It is built when you stand at the crossroads between giving up and pushing on, and you choose to take just one more step, and then another and another. Because the truth is, resilience is not about never feeling weak. It is about choosing to rise despite the weakness. It is about refusing to let the hard days define you. Doubt will come. It comes to everyone. Even the strongest, the wisest, the most successful have felt its shadow creeping in. They have questioned themselves, wondered if they were good enough, if their work mattered. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is not the absence of doubt. It is the refusal to let doubt stop them. It is the understanding that feeling uncertain does not mean you are failing. It only means you are human. You may feel tired, but that does not mean you are defeated. You may feel unsure, but that does not mean you are lost. Every step you take, even the smallest ones, even the ones that feel insignificant, are carrying you forward. And the ones who reach the finish line are not always the fastest, not always the strongest. They are the ones who refuse to stop. The ones who, when faced with difficulty, whispered to themselves, just a little further, just a little more. The journey will test you. It will ask for more than you thought you had to give. But each challenge, each struggle is not there to break you. It is there to shape you. It is making you stronger, more capable, more prepared for the success that is waiting ahead. And when you finally reach that place, when you look back at all the moments you could have quit but didn't, you will know you earned this. Not because it was easy, not because the path was smooth, but because you had the courage to keep going even when everything inside you told you to stop. So when the weight of the journey feels too heavy, when doubt tries to settle in, remind yourself of this. You have come too far to turn back now. You are stronger than you know. And one step at a time, one breath at a time, you will get there. Keep going. The world glorifies speed. It celebrates those who rise quickly, those who seem to have it all figured out in an instant. It tells you that if you are not moving fast, if you are not sprinting towards success, you are falling behind. But hear me when I say speed fades. What lasts, what truly matters, is not how fast you get there, but how strong you become along the way. There is a difference between rushing and growing. There is a difference between moving quickly and moving wisely. A flame that burns too fast does not burn for long. A structure built in haste may rise high, but without a strong foundation, it will not stand when the storm comes. Strength is what carries you through, what allows you not just to reach success, but to hold on to it, to build something that will not crumble at the first sign of difficulty. Look around and you will see many who soared to great heights overnight, only to fall just as fast. You will see people who ran ahead only to find that they had not built the endurance to keep going. Because success is not just about getting there, it is about staying there. It is about having the strength, the resilience, the wisdom to sustain what you have worked for. And that kind of strength is not developed in a sprint. It is built over time through discipline, through patience, through the willingness to keep pushing forward, even when progress seems slow. There will be moments when you wonder if you are moving fast enough, if you should be further along, if your journey is taking too long. But do not let the illusion of speed distract you from what truly matters. Do not measure your success by how quickly you reach the top, but by how well you prepare yourself to stay there. Because the truth is, speed may get you there first, but strength is what allows you to endure, to thrive, to build something that lasts. Think of the strongest trees, the ones that have stood for centuries. They did not grow overnight. They took time, their roots stretching deep into the earth, their trunks thickening with each passing season. They faced storms, they faced droughts, but they stood firm because they had built their strength gradually, steadily, without rushing. And so must you. Your journey is not a race against anyone else. Your pace is your own. Do not be discouraged if others seem to be moving faster. Do not let their speed shake your faith in your own path, because what you are building is not temporary. It is not something that will vanish the moment the winds change. You are building something real, something solid, something that can withstand the test of time. And when you do arrive, when you stand in the light of all that you have worked for, you will not just be someone who succeeded. You will be someone who is strong enough to hold on to that success, to keep growing, to keep standing, no matter what comes next. And that, my dear, is the kind of success that truly matters. It is easy to look around and measure yourself against others, to see someone else's success, someone else's journey, and wonder why yours does not look the same. It is tempting to compare, to question whether you are doing enough, moving fast enough, becoming enough. But hear me, your journey is your own. It is not meant to look like anyone else's. It is not meant to follow the same timeline, the same steps, the same rhythm. It is yours, and that alone makes it valuable. The world will always try to convince you otherwise. It will push you to chase someone else's path, to match someone else's pace. It will show you people who have reached the top quickly and make you wonder if you are too slow. It will whisper in your ear, telling you to run faster, to do more, to be like them. But listen carefully. Your purpose is not found in another person's success. Your calling is not tied to another person's speed. What is meant for you will come in its own time, in its own way, and no one else can take what is rightfully yours. Comparison is a thief. It steals joy. It steals peace. It steals the confidence you should have in your own progress. Because the moment you start looking at someone else's path, you take your eyes off your own. You lose sight of the work you have done, the steps you have taken, the growth you have made, and that is where discouragement begins. Not because you are not doing enough, but because you have forgotten to see how far you have already come. There is no single way to succeed, no perfect route, no universal timeline. Some people rise quickly, others take their time. Some people find success early, others build slowly and steadily. And none of these paths are wrong. What matters is not when you get there, but that you do. What matters is not how your journey compares to someone else's, but that you keep going, that you keep building, that you keep trusting in your own process. A flower does not question why another blooms before it. The sun does not hurry because the moon has already risen. Everything in nature moves in its own time, and so should you. Just because someone else is ahead does not mean you are behind. Just because someone else has achieved something does not mean your moment will not come. Trust in your path. Trust in your pace. Trust in the timing that is unfolding just as it should. It is natural to want reassurance, to want proof that you are on the right track. But that reassurance will not come from comparing yourself to others. It will come from looking at yourself, from recognizing your own progress, your own growth, your own journey. It will come from understanding that every step you take, no matter how small, is leading you towards something greater. So let go of the need to measure yourself against someone else. Let go of the pressure to match their speed, their path, their success. Walk your own road. Move at your own pace. Trust that what is meant for you will never pass you by. And when you finally arrive, when you look back at all that you have built, you will not wish that your journey had been different. You will only be grateful that you stayed true to yourself, that you trusted in the timing that was always meant for you. There will come a time when you stand at the edge of what you once thought was impossible, a moment when the weight of all your efforts, all your struggles, all your quiet sacrifices finally comes together and you realize you made it. Not by luck, not by accident, but because you refused to give up, because you believed in something greater than the doubts that tried to stop you, because you understood that success is not a single moment, but a journey, a slow and steady climb, one step at a time. But hear me, when that moment comes, when you taste the victory you fought so hard for, do not stop there. Do not let the finish line be the end of your journey. Because true success is not just about reaching a goal. It is about what you do with it once you arrive. It is about using what you have gained, your wisdom, your strength, your lessons, to lift others, to light the path for someone else who is still walking, still climbing, still pushing forward. The world often teaches us to chase success for ourselves, to gather achievements, to collect victories, to rise as high as we can. But what good is a success that serves only you? What good is reaching the top if you do not extend a hand to those still making their way up? Because the truth is, the greatest measure of success is not what you have, but what you give. Not what you achieve, but how you use it to inspire, to uplift, to encourage. You did not come this far just to keep it all to yourself. You did not struggle, learn, grow, and overcome just to stand alone at the top. No, you are here to show others that they too can rise, that they too can endure, can keep going, can succeed. Because somewhere out there, someone is looking at you. Someone is watching your journey, and they need to know that it is possible. They need to see that the road, though long and hard, leads somewhere beautiful. It does not take much to make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is sharing your story, being honest about the struggles, about the days when you wanted to quit, about the moments when doubt felt stronger than faith. Sometimes all it takes is reminding someone else that they are not alone, that the journey may be long, but they are capable, they are strong, they are worthy of success too. Success is not just about what you gain, it is about what you leave behind. It is about the impact you make, the lives you touch, the inspiration you become. And when you understand this, when you embrace the idea that success is bigger than you, that it is meant to be shared, then you will have found something far greater than personal achievement. You will have found purpose. You will have built a legacy. You will have ensured that long after you have reached your own success, the path remains open for others to follow. So when you rise, do not rise alone. When you succeed, do not close the door behind you. Lift as you climb, encourage as you grow, give as you receive, because true success is not measured by how high you go, but by how many you bring with you. Success is not found in rushing toward the finish line, nor is it reserved for the lucky few who seem to rise effortlessly. It is earned through patience, through persistence, through the quiet moments when no one is watching, but you keep going anyway. It is built step by step in the discipline of showing up, in the resilience to push through doubt, in the wisdom to trust your own path. There will be challenges, moments of exhaustion, times when the road feels too long. But remember, every great achievement was once just a dream, carried forward by someone who refused to quit. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, at the pace meant for you. Do not rush it, do not compare it, and do not fear the struggle. It is shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for what is to come. And when you reach your success, do not hold it tightly to yourself. Share your wisdom, lift others, inspire those still climbing, because true success is not just about what you achieve. It is about what you give back, the light you leave behind for others to follow. So keep going, keep believing, keep taking one step at a time, knowing that everything you are working for is ahead of you. Your success is not a question of if, it is only a matter of when. Good luck on your journey, and thank you. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It doesn't knock politely and wait for you to invite it in. It's a force that demands your commitment, your discipline, and your resilience. The road to success is often unpaved, full of twists and turns, and certainly not for the faint of heart. Success is not handed out freely. It is earned through sacrifice. It requires giving up short-term pleasures for long-term rewards. It means making choices that often feel uncomfortable in the moment, but are essential for growth and progress. This is a hard truth many people struggle to accept because inherently we are drawn to comfort, ease, and the familiar. However, success lives outside those boundaries. It thrives dedicated to improving yourself, whether it's learning a new skill, perfecting your craft, or strategizing for the future, is a moment invested in your success. The moment invested in your success. It requires discipline to say no to distractions and yes to the work that matters most. Beyond time, sacrifice involves stepping away from comfort zones. True growth requires you to face your fears, try new things, and embrace the unknown. It's uncomfortable, yes, but comfort rarely leads to breakthroughs. Those who succeed are the ones willing to feel the fear and move forward anyway. They understand that the pain of temporary discomfort is far outweighed by the joy of achieving something meaningful. Sacrifice also means being prepared to lose certain relationships, habits, or even aspects of your identity that no longer align with your goals. This can be one of the most challenging parts of the journey because it forces you to let go of things or people that feel familiar and safe. However, success demands alignment. If something or someone is holding you back, you must have the courage to make space for what will propel you forward. Financial sacrifice is another crucial element. Investing in your dreams may require spending resources on education, tools, or opportunities that help you grow. While this may feel like a loss in the moment, it's important to view it as planting seeds for future prosperity. Many of the most successful people in the world began by making significant financial sacrifices, choosing to invest in their future rather than indulging in temporary luxuries. Finally, success demands emotional and mental sacrifice. It requires enduring moments of self-doubt, exhaustion, and frustration. You may feel like giving up more times than you can count, but resilience is born in these moments. Sacrificing ease for perseverance strengthens your character and prepares you for the inevitable challenges ahead. In the end, the sacrifices you make are not losses but investments. They are the price you pay to achieve something extraordinary. The journey to success is not easy, but it is transformative. It molds you into a person capable of achieving greatness and living a life of purpose and fulfillment. While the sacrifices may be difficult, the rewards are worth every ounce of effort. Success, after all, is not a destination. It is the culmination of countless moments when you chose to rise above the ordinary and pursue the extraordinary. Discipline is the cornerstone of success, and it often requires choosing it over comfort. Comfort is alluring. It offers safety, ease, and familiarity. However, comfort zones, while pleasant, are places where growth stagnates. Discipline, on the other hand, is the engine that propels you forward, enabling you to achieve your goals and unlock your potential. The ability to prioritize discipline over comfort is what separates those who dream of success from those who achieve it. At its core, discipline is about consistency. It is not about performing exceptionally well on one day and giving in to distractions the next. Discipline means showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It means adhering to a routine, sticking to your commitments, and keeping your promises to yourself. This consistency builds habits, and habits over time shape your destiny. While comfort tells you to take it easy, discipline reminds you that the small, deliberate actions you take today will create the foundation for future success. One of the most challenging aspects of discipline is its demand for delayed gratification. Comfort encourages you to indulge in immediate pleasures, an extra hour of sleep, a night of mindless scrolling, or a binge of your favorite show. Discipline, however, asks you to sacrifice these fleeting moments of satisfaction for the long-term rewards of your effort. It requires you to resist the temptation of easy wins and instead focus on the bigger picture. Discipline is also about accountability. It forces you to take responsibility for your actions and their outcomes. Comfort often provides excuses. I'll start tomorrow, or I've already done enough. Discipline counters with the truth. Progress comes from effort, and there is no substitute for hard work. It reminds you that no one else can do the work for you. Success demands personal responsibility, and discipline is the tool that keeps you aligned with your goals, even when no one is watching. A disciplined mindset pushes you to embrace challenges. Comfort seeks to avoid difficulties and take the path of least resistance. But discipline recognizes that growth lies in struggle. When you choose discipline over comfort, you willingly put yourself in situations that test your abilities. Whether it's taking on a demanding project, learning a complex skill, or persevering through setbacks, discipline enables you to face these challenges with determination and resilience. Discipline also fosters self-restraint and focus. Comfort encourages distraction and wandering thoughts, while discipline helps you prioritize what truly matters. It teaches you to say no to activities that waste your time and energy, and yes to the pursuits that bring you closer to your dreams. Over time, this focused approach not only enhances your productivity, but also instills a sense of pride and accomplishment. Perhaps one of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ability to cultivate self-respect. Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, reliable, and deserving of success. Comfort, though tempting, often leaves you with feelings of regret or dissatisfaction for not doing what you know you should have. Discipline, on the other hand, builds confidence and reinforces your self-worth. Ultimately, choosing discipline over comfort is not about rejecting rest or enjoyment. Rest is vital, and moments of comfort are necessary to recharge. However, discipline ensures that these moments are intentional, not an escape from responsibility. It keeps you grounded in your purpose, reminding you that the sacrifices you make today will lead to the life you envision for yourself tomorrow. In the pursuit of success, discipline is your greatest ally. It is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. While comfort offers temporary satisfaction, discipline delivers lasting fulfillment. By choosing discipline over comfort, you embrace the path of effort, growth, and transformation, and that is where true success lies. Failure is often misunderstood. Many people fear it, avoid it, or view it as a sign of inadequacy. However, failure is not the opposite of success. It is an integral part of it. Failure is a powerful teacher, one that offers lessons that success cannot. While success may bring rewards and validation, failure brings growth, self-awareness, and resilience. It is through failure that we learn what doesn't work, uncover our strengths, and refine our approach to achieve greater things. One of the most profound lessons failure teaches us is humility. It reminds us that we are human, that we don't have all the answers, and that mistakes are inevitable. This realization can be difficult to face, but it is also liberating. It allows us to shed the unrealistic expectation of perfection and embrace the process of learning and improving. Failure strips away our ego, creating space for growth and development. Failure also teaches us perseverance. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel defeated and give up. However, the greatest successes are born from persistence. History is filled with stories of individuals who failed repeatedly before achieving their goals. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Each failure brought him closer to success because he viewed it as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. Another crucial lesson failure imparts is self-awareness. When we fail, we are forced to examine our actions, decisions, and thought processes. This introspection reveals areas where we can improve, whether it's a skill we need to develop, a habit we need to change, or a mindset we need to shift. Failure acts as a mirror, reflecting back to us the truth about our efforts and highlighting the gaps we need to address. This self-awareness is a gift, as it enables us to grow into better versions of ourselves. Failure also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks are inevitable. The ability to bounce back from failure is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Each time you face failure and rise again, you strengthen your resilience. You learn that you are capable of handling adversity, which builds confidence and mental toughness. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about emerging from it stronger and more determined. In addition to personal growth, failure teaches us the importance of adaptability. When something doesn't work, we are forced to pivot, adjust our strategy, or explore new approaches. This flexibility is essential in an ever-changing world. Failure pushes us to innovate, think creatively, and find solutions we might not have considered otherwise. In this way, failure is a catalyst for progress and discovery. Failure also deepens our appreciation for success. Achieving a goal after overcoming setbacks is far more rewarding than attaining it effortlessly. The struggle makes the victory sweeter and instills a sense of pride in our perseverance. Failure reminds us that success is not about avoiding mistakes, but about learning from them and continuing to move forward. Furthermore, failure teaches us empathy. When we experience setbacks, we develop a deeper understanding of the struggles others face. This shared experience fosters compassion and humility, enabling us to connect with others on a human level. Empathy is a powerful tool that not only strengthens relationships, but also enhances our leadership and collaboration skills. It's important to note that failure is only a teacher if we choose to learn from it. Avoiding blame, taking responsibility, and reflecting on what went wrong are critical steps in turning failure into a positive force. Without this mindset, failure can feel like an ending rather than the beginning of a new chapter. In the end, failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It is an essential part of the journey towards success. It shapes us, strengthens us, and prepares us for the challenges ahead. By embracing failure as a teacher, we transform it from a source of discouragement into a source of empowerment. So the next time you encounter failure, don't see it as a sign of defeat. Instead, see it as an opportunity, a chance to learn, grow, and come back stronger. Remember, every great achievement is built on a foundation of lessons learned from failure. Success is not about never falling, it's about rising every time you do. Authenticity and resilience are two powerful traits that go hand in hand on the journey to success. Authenticity is about being true to yourself, embracing your values, strengths, and imperfections without conforming to external pressures. Resilience, on the other hand, is the ability to adapt and bounce back in the face of adversity. Together, they form a foundation that allows you to navigate challenges, stay warm to other people's expectations, and instead living in alignment with your true self. Authenticity fosters confidence. When you are authentic, you no longer waste energy pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, you channel that energy into pursuing your goals and expressing your true potential. This self-assurance attracts opportunities and people who value you for who you are, not for who you are trying to be. Authenticity also fosters trust. People gravitate toward those who are genuine because authenticity creates connection. Whether in relationships, business, or leadership, being authentic allows others to see your integrity and sincerity. It builds credibility and fosters deeper, more meaningful interactions. However, authenticity is not without its challenges. Being true to yourself often means going against the grain. It requires courage to stand firm in your beliefs, especially when they are unpopular or misunderstood. It means embracing your flaws and vulnerabilities, knowing they are a part of what makes you unique. Authenticity is not about being perfect. It's about being real. While authenticity keeps you grounded in who you are, resilience ensures you keep moving forward when life gets tough. Resilience is not the absence of pain or struggle, but the ability to face it head on and emerge stronger. It is the mindset that says, this setback will not define me, it will refine me. Resilience begins with perspective. Challenges and failures are an inevitable part of life, but how you respond to them makes all the difference. Resilient individuals view obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable barriers. They understand that adversity is temporary and that perseverance is the key to overcoming it. One of the defining qualities of resilience is adaptability. Life rarely goes according to plan, and the ability to adjust to changing circumstances is crucial. Resilience teaches you to pivot when necessary, find new approaches, and remain focused on your goals despite setbacks. It's about learning to dance in the rain rather than waiting for the storm to pass. Resilience is also deeply tied to emotional strength. Setbacks can be emotionally taxing, but resilient individuals learn to manage their emotions in a healthy way. They acknowledge their feelings without letting them dictate their actions. This emotional balance allows them to stay composed and make clear decisions even under pressure. When authenticity and resilience come together, they create a powerful synergy. Authenticity gives you the clarity to know what you stand for, while resilience gives you the strength to stand firm, even in the face of challenges. Together, they empower you to pursue your goals with integrity and determination. For example, staying true to yourself often requires resilience. It's not always easy to resist the pressure to conform or to take the path of least resistance. Resilience helps you navigate these pressures and remain steadfast in your authenticity. It gives you the courage to say no to what doesn't align with your values and yes to what does, even when it's the harder choice. Similarly, authenticity strengthens resilience. When you are grounded in who you are, you draw strength from within rather than seeking validation from external sources. This inner confidence acts as a buffer against criticism, failure, or rejection. It reminds you that your worth is not defined by others' opinions or by temporary setbacks. Take the time to reflect on what truly matters to you. When your actions align with your values, you build a life rooted in authenticity. Don't be afraid to show your imperfections. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a powerful way to connect with others and stay true to yourself. Surround yourself with people who encourage your authenticity and support you during difficult times. Their belief in you will strengthen your resilience. When you cultivate authenticity and resilience, you create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. Authenticity ensures that your successes are aligned with your values, making them deeply rewarding. Resilience ensures that you can weather the storms along the way, emerging stronger and wiser each time. Together, these traits empower you to not only achieve success, but also to sustain it. They allow you to face challenges with confidence, connect with others on a deeper level, and remain true to yourself no matter what life throws your way. Authenticity and resilience are not just traits, they are a way of life. A way to thrive in a world that often tests your strength and resolve. By embracing authenticity and resilience, you become unstoppable. You learn to stand tall in your truth, adapt to challenges, and continue moving forward with purpose and determination. In the end, these qualities not only lead to success, but also to a life of integrity, fulfillment, and lasting impact. Empathy and connection are fundamental to a life of meaning, success, and fulfillment. In a world that often emphasizes individual achievement and competition, these qualities remind us of the importance of human relationships. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is the foundation of genuine connection. Together, they form a bridge that allows us to build trust, foster collaboration, and create a sense of belonging. Empathy is one of the most profound human capacities. It goes beyond simply hearing another person's words. It involves truly understanding their emotions and perspective. This deeper understanding creates a space where people feel seen, heard, and valued. Empathy requires active listening. It's about being fully present in the moment, setting aside judgments, and focusing on what the other person is expressing. It also requires a willingness to step into someone else's shoes, even if their experiences are vastly different from your own. This act of emotional courage is what allows empathy to transcend superficial interactions and build meaningful relationships. Empathy is not only an emotional skill, but also a practical one. In personal relationships, it strengthens bonds and resolves conflicts by fostering understanding and compassion. In professional settings, empathy improves communication, teamwork, and leadership. Leaders who lead with empathy create environments where employees feel valued and motivated, which boosts morale and productivity. While empathy is the ability to understand others, connection is the result of that understanding. Humans are inherently social beings, and our need for connection is deeply ingrained. Connection gives our lives purpose, anchors us during difficult times, and enhances our overall well-being. True connection is built on mutual respect, trust, and shared experiences. It's not about superficial exchanges, but about creating relationships where both parties feel understood and supported. Connection allows us to celebrate joys, navigate challenges, and grow together. In a world increasingly driven by technology, the importance of genuine human connection cannot be overstated. While digital communication makes it easier to stay in touch, it can also lead to feelings of isolation if not balanced with real, meaningful interactions. True connection requires presence, authenticity, and vulnerability, qualities that cannot be fully replaced by screens. Empathy and connection are deeply intertwined. Empathy lays the groundwork for connection by creating an environment where people feel safe to express themselves. When someone feels understood, they are more likely to open up, trust, and engage, leading to a deeper connection. Connection, in turn, strengthens empathy. The more we connect with others, the more we are exposed to different perspectives, experiences, and emotions. This exposure broadens our understanding of the human condition and enhances our ability to empathize with others. Together, empathy and connection create a virtuous cycle that fosters stronger relationships and communities. They break down barriers, dissolve misunderstandings, and remind us of our shared humanity. While empathy and connection are often associated with personal relationships, they are equally important in achieving success. Empathy allows you to understand the needs and motivations of others, whether they are colleagues, clients, or partners. This understanding helps you build trust, resolve conflicts, and foster collaboration, all of which are essential for achieving goals. Connection, on the other hand, opens doors to opportunities. Networking, mentorship, and teamwork are all rooted in the ability to connect with others. People are more likely to support, collaborate, and share opportunities with those they feel a genuine connection to. Moreover, success is not just about achieving personal milestones. It's about making a positive impact. Empathy and connection enable you to inspire and uplift others, creating a ripple effect of success that extends beyond yourself. Empathy and connection have the power to transform not only individuals, but also communities and organizations. They create environments where people feel valued, respected, and supported. They foster collaboration, creativity, and innovation by breaking down silos and encouraging open communication. In personal relationships, empathy and connection bring depth, joy, and resilience. They allow us to navigate challenges together, celebrate successes, and build a sense of belonging that enriches our lives. In professional settings, empathy and connection lead to stronger teams, more effective leadership, and greater organizational success. They remind us that success is not just about numbers or accolades, but about the people we impact along the way. Ultimately, empathy and connection remind us of our shared humanity. They bridge divides, heal wounds, and create a world where people feel seen, heard, and valued. By cultivating these qualities, we not only achieve success, but also create a legacy of kindness, understanding, and meaningful relationships. In a world that often glorifies results and outcomes, it is easy to overlook the importance of the journey. The pursuit of goals is not solely about reaching the finish line. It is about the growth, experiences, and lessons we gain along the way. Celebrating the journey, not just the destination, is essential to finding fulfillment, staying motivated, and appreciating the richness of life. The journey represents the process, the countless hours of effort, the challenges faced, the small victories, and the personal growth that occurs as you work toward your goals. While the destination may be the ultimate achievement, the journey is where life happens. It is where you build skills, gain resilience, and discover your true capabilities. The journey shapes your character. It tests your patience, determination, and ability to adapt. It teaches you to face adversity with courage and to celebrate progress no matter how small. These experiences create a foundation for future successes, ensuring that you grow not only in accomplishments, but also in wisdom and strength. My dear friend, success is on the other side of discomfort. That's a truth dressed in simplicity but forged in fire. It is not the kind of truth that whispers, no. It hollers in the middle of a sleepless night. It knocks on the door when the winds of doubt howl too loud to ignore. It stands there patient and still and says, come now. If you're brave enough to stretch beyond the easy, I've been waiting for you. We do not rise in comfort. We do not learn sitting pretty with our hands folded and hearts untouched. We rise because something stirs in us and says, not yet, child, you've got more to give. The world may try to cradle you into stillness, but there's something in your bones that won't settle. You were not built to shrink. You were built to stretch. You were not born to break at the first crack of challenge. You were born to bend and rise and carry yourself into places your feet have not yet known. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the chisel and you are the sculpture. It is the fire and you are the gold. If it shakes you, it is not to destroy, but to mold. You learn what you are made of, not when the sun is warm and the road is straight, but when the night is long and the path disappears under your feet. That's when you dig. That's when you reach inside and find something old and strong that says, keep going. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Without struggle, there is no strength. That is a truth we must hold close, especially when life begins to test our patience and persistence. Too often, we seek the path of least resistance, hoping for success without sacrifice, growth without effort, reward without risk. But real transformation doesn't come dressed in ease. It wears the rough edges of challenge. It meets us in the late night hours when doubt creeps in and whispers, why keep going? It shows up in the silence after failure, in the sting of rejection, in the heavy weight of trying again when everything inside says to quit. And it is in those very moments, the raw, unpolished, and painful ones, that growth begins to take root. When we find ourselves uncomfortable, we are not broken. We are being rebuilt. Struggle is not a sign that we are failing. It is the evidence that we are stretching. The caterpillar does not become the butterfly by staying wrapped in comfort. It must wrestle through the cocoon. The seed does not bloom into a flower unless it pushes through darkness and dirt. And neither can we expect to evolve while clinging to what is easy. Sometimes life will ask more of us than we feel we have to give. It will place mountains before us that look too high, storms above us that feel too wild, and fears within us that seem too loud. But in those times, we are being given a choice. Shrink back into safety or rise into strength. And though the rising may hurt, it is always worth it. For every step into discomfort is a step toward becoming. Every moment of strain is shaping something unshakable in our character. It is not the comfort that reveals who we truly are, but the fight, the tenacity, the resilience. You do not find your strength when the sun is shining and the wind is calm. You find it when you have no map and still decide to take the next step. You discover it when you fall and choose to rise again. When the world says stop, but your heart whispers go. That's where strength is born. In the heat of persistence, in the ache of discipline, in the stretch of faith. Discomfort strips away what is superficial. It reveals what is real. It teaches you to depend on something deeper than applause or praise. It teaches you to trust your inner compass when the path is unclear. And once you've walked through pain and grown from it, you begin to see discomfort not as an enemy, but as a friend. A stern friend, yes, but one who is loyal to your growth. The one who demands your best and in return gives you back to yourself. Wiser, stronger, and more certain of who you are. The truth is, the journey to success will not always feel good. It will not always be smooth, but that's not the point. The point is to become someone who doesn't crumble when things get hard. Someone who walks forward, even with trembling steps. Someone who knows that the fire they walk through today is shaping the steel they will carry tomorrow. So if you are uncomfortable right now, don't run, lean in. You're being carved into something powerful. Keep walking through the fire. Because success, real and lasting success, is not found in comfort. It waits on the other side of discomfort, calling your name. Every breakthrough begins where your comfort zone ends. That's where the shift starts. Not in the familiar, not in the safe spaces where nothing changes, but in that stretch of space where the heart races, the mind doubts, and the soul is called to rise. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it rarely brings the growth you crave. It holds you in patterns, routines, and the illusion of security, while life quietly waits for you to risk more, to believe more, and to step into the unknown. There's a reason why the comfort zone is so tempting. It protects you from failure, it shields you from judgment, it keeps your feet steady and your heartbeat calm. But it also keeps you from discovering who you can truly be. It keeps your potential wrapped in silence and your dreams tucked beneath fear. The truth is, as long as you stay comfortable, you stay the same. But the moment you choose to lean into discomfort, everything starts to move. That's when the breakthrough begins. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you dared to take one step forward anyway. It is in the unfamiliar that you learn how much grit you've got. It is in the tension of change that you uncover your courage. When you walk past the edge of what you know and into what you fear, you invite something new, something raw and unshaped to rise within you. Growth never feels soft. It pulls and stretches and demands. It forces you to question your limits and press beyond them. But with each step away from comfort, something powerful happens. The old version of you starts to fade, and the version that's ready for success starts to emerge. And sometimes life won't give you signs. It won't promise you that stepping out will work. It won't wrap your efforts in instant reward. Instead, it gives you the silence, the challenge, the waiting. And in that space, you have to believe, not because it's easy, but because something inside tells you this moment matters. The decision to leave comfort behind is never about recklessness. It's about trusting that there's more to you than what you've already seen. It's about knowing that your purpose won't be found where everything stays the same. The first step is always the hardest. It's filled with hesitation, self-doubt, and questions with no answers. But that first step is sacred. It's where courage is born. And once you take it, no matter how small, you change the direction of your story. You begin to trade fear for faith. You begin to see that your limits were never real, just walls built by habit and held up by fear. There will be moments where you want to retreat, moments where the path feels too steep, the weight too heavy. But those are the moments when you're getting close. That pressure you feel is the pressure of a breakthrough. That discomfort is the stretch before the leap. Keep going, keep pushing, because the door to success won't open with comfort. It opens with commitment, with courage, with the willingness to risk being uncomfortable long enough to see what's on the other side. And when you get there, when you taste that breakthrough, not just the success, but the strength you found along the way, you'll know it was worth every uncertain step. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're stepping into something greater. It does not mean turn back, run away, or shrink down. It simply means you're walking towards something that matters, something unfamiliar, something that requires more of you than the past ever did. That fear you feel is not there to punish you. It's there to prepare you, to sharpen your senses, to remind you that what you're doing is real and that it has weight, earth. You only fear the things that have power to change you, and that's why fear is such a sacred sign. It's not the enemy, it's the evidence that growth is near. We've been taught to be afraid of fear, to avoid it, to stay far from anything that makes us tremble. But nothing worth becoming ever happens inside the realm of ease. The road to success is paved with steps that made your knees shake. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. That's not just a phrase, it's a principle. Growth asks for discomfort. Breakthroughs require bravery, and fear is often the first visitor at the door of every new chapter. The question is not whether you will feel fear, but whether you will answer the door anyway. Every person who's achieved anything worthwhile has walked through fear. Not around it, not beneath it, through it. They've heard the same whispers you hear. You're not ready, you might fail, who do you think you are? And yet, they moved forward anyway. That's the difference between those who grow and those who stay the same. It's not about being fearless, it's about refusing to be ruled by fear. You don't need to be free of fear to begin. You just need to be bold enough to act in spite of it. Sometimes fear shows up loud, it shouts, it shakes your voice and tightens your chest. And sometimes it shows up quiet, a silent hesitation, a subtle delay, an excuse dressed in reason. But no matter the form it takes, its purpose is always the same: to keep you safe. And while safety has its place, it cannot lead your life. If safety becomes the standard, your dreams will always be out of reach. Because success is not safe, growth is not gentle. Becoming who you were meant to be requires you to feel things that make you want to run. But you don't run, you stay. You face the thing and you walk through the fire. Fear will try to convince you that you're not enough. But let me tell you this, you are not only enough, you are necessary. Necessary to the path you are walking. Necessary to the people who need your story. Necessary to the life that's waiting for you beyond the discomfort. Your courage is not about being louder than your fear. It's about standing in the storm and saying, I'm scared, but I'm still going. That kind of courage builds strength no comfort ever could. And when you keep walking through fear long enough, something shifts. What once made you tremble now makes you strong. What once felt like a wall becomes a door. And on the other side of that fear is a life bigger than what you've settled for, a life shaped by courage, seasoned with pain, and crowned with purpose. So let the fear come. Just don't let it stop you. Let it walk beside you if it must, but never let it lead. Because every time you keep going despite it, you're not only proving your strength, you're stepping deeper into the life you were meant to live. True success demands sacrifice, and discomfort is the price of transformation. You cannot become more by staying the same. You cannot rise without leaving something behind. That's the part we don't often speak about, the letting go, the lonely nights, the invisible work that no one claps for. But it's all part of the journey. It's the part that refines you, that teaches you to stand taller with less, to keep walking when your feet ache, and to give even when you feel empty. That's where success is formed, not in the spotlight, but in the struggle. You see, everyone wants the reward, everyone wants the outcome, but few are willing to walk through what it takes to truly earn it. Because real growth doesn't come wrapped in pretty packages. It comes in the form of decisions that stretch you. Early mornings when you'd rather sleep, late nights when your mind is tired but your purpose keeps you awake. It comes through the discipline of saying no to comfort so you can say yes to calling. That kind of sacrifice is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet but heavy. And it shapes you in ways success alone never could. We often imagine success as a destination, a moment where everything feels good and whole and complete, but real success, the kind that lasts, the kind that leaves an imprint, comes from who you become along the way. And becoming costs. It costs your time, your habits, your excuses. It asks you to face yourself, to confront your limits, to challenge your mindset, and most of all, to believe that something greater lives inside of you, something that comfort will never draw out. This comfort is the tool life uses to build that version of you. It shakes you awake. It pulls you away from what's easy and calls you to dig deeper, think clearer, move stronger. It doesn't ask for permission. It shows up when it wants and stays longer than you'd like. But in its presence, you're forced to decide, who do I really want to be? Will I keep hiding behind ease, or will I step into the fire and let it burn away what no longer serves me? Some days that fire will feel too much. You'll wonder if it's worth it. You'll question your steps. You'll look around and see others walking easier paths, and you'll be tempted to trade your pain for their peace. But never forget, ease does not always mean fulfillment. Sometimes it is the weight of the work that brings meaning to the reward. The struggle makes the success sacred. It gives it depth. It gives it value. There's no shortcut to purpose, no bypass around growth, and no way to rise without falling a few times along the way. That's not failure. That's becoming. That's the unfolding of strength you didn't know you had. And when you look back one day, you won't remember the comfort. You'll remember the climb. You'll remember the nights you almost gave up, but didn't. The days you were exhausted, but showed up anyway. And in that memory, you'll find pride. Not because you made it easy, but because you made it through. So if you're sacrificing, struggling, stretching, don't despair. You're not falling behind, you're falling into alignment. You're becoming the person success has been waiting for all along. You don't discover your power when things are easy, but when you keep going despite the pain. Comfort doesn't reveal what lives inside you, discomfort does. It peels back the layers. It shows you who you really are. In the moments when life feels too heavy, when your heart is tired and your mind is clouded with doubt, that's when your real strength begins to surface. Not the kind of strength that shouts or demands attention, but the quiet kind, the kind that holds on, that takes one more step, that whispers, I'm still here. We all want to believe we're strong, capable, resilient. But you only find out if that's true when everything you counted on starts to shake, when the plan falls apart, when the support disappears, when fear is loud and comfort is nowhere to be found. That's when the real you begins to speak. And it rarely speaks in certainty, it speaks in action, in courage that moves even when faith feels small, in persistence that stays steady even when the path is unclear. Pain is not a sign of weakness. It is often the doorway to your greatest strength. Because pain forces you to dig. It pushes you into places you never would have chosen. It asks you to grow roots in storms you didn't expect. And even though it hurts, it has a purpose. Every ache, every tear, every restless night, they become the proof that you didn't give up when you had every reason to. That you showed up not because it was easy, but because something deep inside said, this matters. It's in those moments that you start to build a strength that cannot be shaken, not because the world made it easy for you, but because you became stronger through what tried to break you. You learn to trust your own voice when everything outside said stop. You learn to carry yourself when no one else was watching. You learn to breathe through the discomforts, to move through the chaos, and to rise through the fear. That is power. And that power isn't handed to you, it's forged through the pain you dare to face. There will be times when no one sees your fight. No one knows what you're carrying, and that's all right because success doesn't require an audience. It requires endurance. It requires honesty. It requires you to keep going when the applause fades and the spotlight turns elsewhere. Because the real work, the becoming, happens in the quiet, in the slow steps, in the moments when no one is watching, but you refuse to stop. And what's remarkable is that the very pain you thought would end you becomes the ground you grow from. It becomes the fire that refines you, the pressure that sharpens you, the challenge that elevates you. And once you've gone through it, really gone through it, you look back and realize the strength was always there. You just hadn't been pushed deep enough to find it. So if you're in a place that hurts, if you're standing in discomfort, wondering if it's worth it, know this is where you rise. This is where your power is being built. It's not pretty, it's not easy, but it's real. And real power, real success never grows from ease. It grows from effort, from heart, and from the choice to keep moving when everything says stop. The version of you that wins is born in the fire you're tempted to run from. That fire doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to shape you. It comes to melt away what no longer serves you and to reveal the parts of you that are unshakable. We often think strength is found in the win itself, in the applause, in the final moment of triumph. But strength doesn't arrive fully formed. It is created in the struggle, in the resistance, in the very discomfort you wish would end. The fire feels unfair while you're in it. It feels like too much. But it's doing what comfort never could. It's building you. You can't evolve if you keep running from the heat. If you back away every time things get hard, you'll never meet the version of yourself that was meant to lead, to rise, to thrive. That version of you isn't born on calm mornings or in rooms where everything feels certain. No, they come alive in the tension, in the stretch, in the chaos of not knowing and choosing to move forward anyway. The fire is uncomfortable for a reason. It breaks your patterns. It burns through your excuses. It forces you to make a decision. Stay the same or become more. And becoming more is not about chasing perfection. It's about embracing the process, the one that hurts, the one that tests, the one that sometimes brings you to your knees. Because on the other side of that process is someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded than you ever imagined. But you'll never meet them if you keep stepping back when the heat rises. Growth is not gentle. It doesn't whisper you into greatness. It calls you out, pushes you forward, dares you to face what you fear most. And that's why most people don't make it. Because the fire asks for everything you think you can't give. But the truth is, you can. You can walk through that fire. You can endure more than you know. You can stand in the heat and find stillness. You can feel the pressure and choose not to break. You can lose your way and still rise again. Because the fire is not there to consume you, it's there to reveal you. It's the training ground. It's the preparation. It's where champions are made long before the world sees their shine. That's what success really is. It's the result of who you become through the burning. It's not just about reaching a goal. It's about growing into someone who never needed the easy way, who didn't fold when the weight got heavy, who refused to run when the discomfort came, because they understood this pain, this pressure, this process is building a version of me that can handle what I ask for, that can carry the dream, that can stand in rooms I used to feel too small for. If you've been tempted to run, if the fire feels too hot and too long, just know this is where the transformation lives. Not after, not someday, but right here. And if you stay with it, if you keep showing up, even in the trembling, even in the silence, you'll meet that version of yourself. The one who made it through. The one who stands tall, not because the fire didn't touch them, but because they chose to walk through it anyway. So, if there's one truth you carry forward, let it be this. Success was never meant to be easy, but it was always meant to be earned. It lives not in the comfort, but in the climb. It waits on the other side of fear, of struggle, of pain, and of every moment you wanted to give up but chose to go on. You find your strength not by avoiding the fire, but by walking through it. You meet your power not in the soft places, but in the hard ones. Every sacrifice, every silent battle, every restless night is shaping a version of you that was born to rise. Keep showing up. Keep walking forward. Trust that the discomfort is not in your way, it is the way. Let it grow you, stretch you, and prepare you for everything you were made to become. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are stronger than you know. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when the noise outside grows so loud you can barely hear your own heartbeat. The world spins fast and talks louder, pulling you in all directions. Deadlines chase you, expectations press against your chest, worries dance like shadows at your feet. And in the middle of it all, you begin to forget the sound of your own soul. That is when you must pause. That is when you must remember who you are beneath the rush. You were not born to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were born to rise with grace. You were born to live with joy. You were born to breathe. Let go of the need to control everything and discover the peace that comes with trust. That may sound simple, even too soft for a world that thrives on deadlines and results, but the truth lies deeper than noise. You see, the hunger to control it all, to fix every detail, plan every outcome, predict every moment, is not born from strength. It is born from fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of being misunderstood, fear of things not going the way we hoped. But fear, when given too much power, begins to steer the wheel of our lives. And in trying to control everything, we lose the only thing that matters, our peace. There is a quiet freedom that comes when you finally loosen your grip on life, not giving up, not turning away from responsibility, but surrendering the illusion that if you just do enough, say enough, push enough, you'll finally arrive at some perfect place where everything stays in line. That place doesn't exist, and chasing it will leave you breathless, restless, and exhausted. But when you choose to trust, not blindly, but bravely, you begin to feel the ground again. You start walking lighter. You begin to see that life is not a battle to win, but a rhythm to join. You learn that not every outcome needs your interference, that not every moment is yours to fix. You can show up with love, with intention, and with care, and still understand that things may unfold differently than you imagined. And that's okay. That's how life teaches you. That's how life grows you. The more you hold on, the more you strain, the more you release, the more space you make for grace to enter. You start to feel the air again. You begin to laugh in places where you used to clench your jaw. You start waking up not with dread, but with curiosity. Because when you trust the timing of your life, when you begin to trust yourself, you stop rushing. You stop comparing. You stop fighting a current that was never yours to control. And something beautiful begins to bloom. Balance. Balance that isn't just about perfect plans or clean calendars, but about living in a way that feels true, soft, and strong all at once. You no longer react to every storm. You no longer need to explain every choice. You start choosing peace over panic, rest over perfection, listening over chasing. You give yourself permission to breathe in the middle of mess. You trust that even when things fall apart, you won't. You will bend, maybe, but you will not break. Because your foundation is no longer rooted in control, it's grounded in faith, in presence, in the quiet knowing that you are doing enough, that you are becoming enough, that you are enough. And from that place of surrender, from that place of trust, a new life unfolds. A life where joy is not delayed, a life where silence is not scary, a life where you rise not in reaction, but in alignment. You live not to control the world, but to meet it as it is. Moment by moment, with open hands, a soft heart, and a steady spirit. And in that space, stress begins to loosen. It no longer holds your days hostage. It no longer defines your worth. It passes like wind through trees while you remain rooted, breathing, becoming. So trust the path, trust yourself, and let peace walk beside you. Protect your inner calm like it is sacred, because it is. In a world that demands your attention every second, where voices shout from every direction, telling you who to be, what to chase, and how to live, there must be a place within you that stays untouched. A quiet space that remains whole no matter how loud life gets. That space, your inner calm, is not weakness, it is your power. And it is yours to protect. There will always be things beyond your control, delays, disappointments, unexpected turns. There will be people who misunderstand you, judge you, or pull you into storms that don't belong to you. But just because chaos knocks doesn't mean you have to open the door. Just because the world spins fast doesn't mean you have to spin with it. You have the right, the need, the deep responsibility to guard the peace within you, to build a stillness that becomes your anchor. When the tide rises, you are allowed to step back. You are allowed to take a breath before reacting. You are allowed to protect your energy the way you protect anything precious. Your calm is not something you stumble upon. It is something you create moment by moment with the choices you make and the boundaries you set. That means saying no without guilt. That means walking away from noise that doesn't serve your growth. That means choosing silence over shouting, stillness over struggle. You don't have to explain why peace matters to you. You don't have to justify why you want mornings that feel soft, conversations that feel real, or a life that doesn't drain you. Your inner calm is where your truth lives. It's where you hear yourself when the world tries to drown your voice. It's where clarity rises when confusion knocks. And it deserves your attention. It deserves your defense. There is strength in being calm. Not passive, not distant, but calm with purpose. Calm that has walked through the fire and learned not to carry the flames forward. Calm that knows storms come, but also knows how to remain steady in their presence. That kind of calm makes you powerful, not because you control others, but because you know how to master yourself. And yes, it takes work. It takes learning how to pause, how to breathe through discomfort, how to choose peace even when anger feels justified, how to sit with your feelings without letting them flood your foundation. But with every choice to protect your calm, you remind the world and yourself that your spirit matters, that your well-being matters, that not every fight is worth your fire, not every opinion deserves your reply. Let your calm speak louder than your chaos. Let your peace walk into rooms before your words do. Let your presence be one that soothes, not stirs. That doesn't mean you won't feel stress or worry or sadness. It means you'll meet those things with a center strong enough not to be swept away. When you begin to treat your calm as sacred, your whole life begins to change. You make decisions from a place of stillness instead of pressure. You connect more deeply, not because you're doing more, but because you're showing up with your whole self. You begin to live more, feel more, become more, because you're no longer rushing through life trying to keep up with what doesn't feed your soul. And in that way, your calm becomes your compass. Slow living is not weakness, it is wisdom, choosing quality over chaos. In a time when fast is glorified and being busy is worn like a badge of honor, slowing down may seem like falling behind, but real living has never been about the pace, it has always been about the presence. The ones who slow down, who take their time, who savor the moment, they are not losing the race. They are simply choosing not to run a race that leads nowhere. You do not have to move at the speed of the world to feel worthy. You do not have to keep filling your days until there is no space left to breathe. There is courage in choosing stillness when the world shouts for speed. There is strength in stepping back when everyone else is sprinting, because when you slow down, something magical happens. You start to notice. You notice the way the morning light falls through your window. You hear the sound of your own laughter. You taste your coffee instead of gulping it down between emails. You remember the names of your dreams. This is not laziness. This is not surrender. This is an act of deep presence. And presence is the birthplace of balance. When you are present, you are not worrying about yesterday or racing into tomorrow. You are here fully. And when you are here, you begin to live more. You begin to see how much beauty there is in ordinary things, how much joy there is in simplicity, how much clarity can come when you stop chasing noise and start listening to silence. You begin to choose what matters. You begin to live intentionally. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to the right things. You don't do more to prove your worth. You do less to protect your peace. You learn that your time is not something to be spent like loose change. It is something sacred, something that deserves care. When you slow down, you begin to invest your time, not just spend it. You give it to the things that light you up instead of the things that wear you down. Slow living is also about noticing your breath, feeling your heartbeat, honoring your pace. It's about saying, I am allowed to be here. I am allowed to move through life in a way that nourishes my soul. The world may be fast, but I don't have to be frantic. I can choose to pause. I can choose to breathe. I can choose to be gentle with myself, even when everything else feels hard. And in that slowness, healing happens, perspective returns, creativity comes back. You remember that life is not a checklist. It is a collection of moments, and you deserve to feel them, not just pass through them. You are not here to survive days. You are here to live them fully, deeply, and consciously. So let others rush if they must. Let the noise pass if it wants to, but you stay rooted. Stay soft. Stay slow, because in your slowness is your strength. In your stillness is your wisdom, and in your presence is the life you've been too busy to notice. And that life, that quiet, rich, honest life, is waiting for you to stop and say yes. You were not created to survive each day. You were born to feel it, breathe it, live it. Somewhere along the way, we started to treat life like a to-do list. Wake up, rush work, respond, scroll, sleep, repeat. We began measuring our days by how much we got done instead of how deeply we connected. We began surviving mornings and crawling through nights, calling it normal. But this was never the design of your soul. Your spirit wasn't made for constant tension. It wasn't made to carry the weight of every expectation until your joy gets buried beneath it. You are here to live, not just to exist, not just to function, not just to get through. You are here to breathe with intention, to feel the air fill your lungs and know you are alive for a reason far greater than a paycheck or a performance. Your value is not found in your productivity. Your worth does not rise or fall with your schedule. Life was never meant to be something you race through just to reach the weekend. It was meant to be something you meet with presence every single day. When you begin to see your days as sacred, not perfect, not polished, but sacred, you begin to shift. You start paying attention. You start treating the little things like they matter because they do. A conversation that makes you smile, a meal that fills more than your stomach, a walk where you can hear the wind instead of notifications. These moments don't make headlines, but they make a life. The world will keep spinning fast. The world will tell you to keep up, but you don't have to play that game. You can choose to slow down and remember what it feels like to really live. You can take 5 minutes to close your eyes and listen to your breath. You can wake up and whisper thank you before your feet hit the floor. You can speak kindly to yourself before anyone else has the chance to speak at all. You can make space for joy that isn't earned, just felt. Living doesn't mean escaping your responsibilities. It means showing up to them with a heart that is awake. It means finding meaning in the ordinary. It means looking up from your phone and noticing the color of the sky. It means giving yourself permission to feel deeply, to rest fully, to laugh loudly, to cry without shame. It means no longer apologizing for being human in a world that rewards machines. Stress has become a shadow in too many lives, but it doesn't have to own you. You are allowed to create a new rhythm. You are allowed to protect your time, your energy, your emotions. You are allowed to say, I am not here to race, I am here to live. You are allowed to choose peace even when the world praises pressure. You are allowed to pause without guilt. You are allowed to feel alive. So stop surviving your days like they are something to get through. Start meeting them with wonder. Start listening to your spirit when it says slow down, breathe, listen. Because in the stillness is where your truth lives. In the quiet, you'll remember you were never meant to be just a machine moving through time. You were meant to be a soul moving through life with intention, with presence, with heart. And that truly is where your balance begins. Balance is not found in doing more, but in doing what matters with presence. We are taught from a young age that the more we do, the more we achieve, that filling every hour of the day is the mark of ambition, that staying busy is a badge of pride. But somewhere between all the striving and scheduling, we lose something sacred, our center. We begin to live on the surface of things, barely touching the meaning beneath them. We rush through moments that were meant to be lived, not managed. And in all that doing, we forget how to simply be. There's a difference between a full life and a fulfilled one. A full life can still feel empty. You can wake up to a calendar packed with plans, conversations, meetings, and commitments, and still feel like something vital is missing. That missing piece is often presence, that quiet, grounding force that allows you to show up completely, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And you cannot be truly present when you are stretched thin. You cannot be truly at peace when you are endlessly pulled in every direction. Balance is not about having it all. It's about knowing what truly matters and giving that your whole attention. It's about being honest enough to say, I cannot do everything, and wise enough to say, I don't need to. You were not made to be everything for everyone. You were made to live your truth, not someone else's expectations. And living your truth requires space, not just on your calendar, but in your heart. Doing what matters with presence means learning to say yes with intention and no without guilt. It means slowing down enough to recognize when you're running on autopilot and having the courage to choose differently. It means being where your feet are, not drifting into tomorrow's worries or yesterday's regrets. Because balance isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of returning to what feels right, what feels real, what feels like you. You begin to choose people who energize you instead of drain you. You choose actions that align with your values, not just your responsibilities. You begin to trust that when you focus on what truly matters, your peace, your purpose, your people, everything else begins to settle. The chaos becomes background noise. The stress becomes manageable. The pressure loses its grip. And what remains is a rhythm that supports you instead of suffocating you. This kind of balance can't be measured in productivity apps or checked off on a planner. It's felt in the moments you give your child your full attention. It's found in the quiet cup of tea you drink before the world wakes. It's present in the walk you take without your phone, the deep breath you take before responding, the silence you choose over a rushed answer. These are small things, but they add up to a steady life, a life with room to breathe, a life with space for joy. So no, you don't need to do more to feel complete. You need to do less with more love. You need to stop performing and start connecting. You need to strip away the noise so you can hear the still, steady voice that's been waiting for you to listen. The one that knows what really matters. The one that knows balance is not about being busy. It's about being whole. And when you live from that place, life doesn't feel like something you have to survive. It becomes something you are deeply, beautifully part of. Your well-being is not a reward, it is a right. And it begins with choosing yourself daily. Too often we treat our own peace like something we have to earn, as if rest must be justified, as if joy must come only after struggle. We place our well-being at the bottom of a long list, hoping that once we've done enough, pleased enough, achieved enough, we'll finally deserve to breathe. But life doesn't work that way, and your soul was never meant to live in waiting. You are not a machine. You do not exist solely to produce, to please, to push through. You are a living being with needs, with dreams, with a spirit that whispers for care. And yet, in the rush to meet every demand, we forget that our own care is not optional. It is essential. We cannot pour from an empty cup. We cannot give from a place of depletion. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is sacred. Because when you are well, when you are whole, when you are rooted in peace, everything you touch is better for it. Well-being is not just the absence of illness. It is the presence of ease, the presence of joy, the presence of alignment. It is found in the quiet decisions you make every day, the decision to rest when your body says it's tired, the decision to speak kindly to yourself when your mind begins to spiral, the decision to protect your boundaries even when others do not understand them. These are not luxuries, these are lifelines. You were not placed on this earth to run yourself into the ground. You were not given this life just to wear yourself thin, proving your worth. You were born whole, and that wholeness deserves to be honored, not just on weekends, not just on vacations, but every single day. You can't live fully if you are always running on empty. You can't live more if stress is always sitting in the front seat of your life. It begins with awareness, with noticing when you're losing yourself to the noise, with pausing long enough to ask, what do I need right now? And listening for the answer with tenderness. Maybe it's a deep breath, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's stepping away from something that no longer feels right. Whatever it is, your needs matter. They don't need permission, they don't need explanation. They just need your willingness to say yes to yourself. This journey toward inner balance does not start with a grand gesture. It starts with a moment of truth, a moment when you look in the mirror and decide that your peace is worth protecting, that your body deserves nourishment, that your mind deserves rest, that your heart deserves joy. It is a promise you make to yourself to show up for you, to choose yourself, not just when it's easy, but but especially when it's hard, especially when everything else tells you to keep going and keep giving. And when you begin to choose yourself daily, you begin to return home. You return to a rhythm that honors who you are, not just what you do. You return to a space where stress loses its grip and life begins to open, a space where you are not surviving your days, you are living them, not from obligation, but from overflow. Not in reaction, but in alignment. And that is where balance becomes your way of being, not just your goal. Conclusion of this entire speech with good luck and thank you message. So as you walk away from these words, carry this truth with you. You were never meant to live a life drowned in noise, buried in stress, or lost in constant motion. You were meant to rise in peace, to move with intention, to live with your whole heart present. Inner balance is not a destination far away. It is here. It is now. It is found in the breath you choose to take slowly, in the joy you allow yourself to feel, in the gentle permission to rest, to release, to return to yourself. Protect your calm, trust your path, choose what matters, breathe deeper, walk slower, and remember always, your well-being is not a reward for how much you endure. It is a right you claim by how deeply you live. Thank you for sharing this moment, for listening not just with your ears, but with your spirit. May your days ahead be softer, stronger, and filled with grace. Good luck on your journey, and above all, take care of you. Hi, everyone. There is a quiet fire that lives in the heart of a woman who knows her worth. It is not the fire of noise or of restless motion. It is the fire that warms, the fire that lights, the fire that refuses to be put out even when storms rage and winds howl. A woman like this does not bend herself to fit the mold that others place before her. She stands tall in her own shape. She carries her own name with pride, and she walks into a room knowing that the space was already brighter because she stepped in. Too often, women are told to carry burdens until their backs ache, to smile while their hearts bleed, to give until their hands are empty. Too often, their strength is mistaken for an invitation to pile on more weight. But there comes a moment when a woman awakens to her own truth, when she looks in the mirror and finally sees not what the world demanded, but what she truly is. She does not need to prove her value by overwork. She does not need to shout to be heard. She does not need to bow her head to be accepted. Her worth was written in her soul long before the world ever gave her a name. Strength does not come from stress. Stress breaks down the body, steals the mind, and dims the spirit. True strength rises from peace. True strength breathes in calm and exhales confidence. The woman who knows her worth chooses rest without guilt. She chooses silence without fear. She chooses her own company without shame. She is strong not because she runs herself ragged, but because she refuses to let the world rob her of her joy. There is beauty in her stride and power in her stillness. She can lift with her hands, but more than that, she can lift with her presence. She can build with her voice, but more than that, she can build with her example. When she speaks truth. When she is silent, her silence is full of meaning. The world cannot confuse her anymore because she has drawn her line, and that line is love. A woman who knows her worth chooses peace over pressure. That choice may sound simple, but it is one of the bravest acts she can make in a world that constantly demands more of her. From the earliest years, women are told to carry weight that does not belong to them. They are asked to please, to sacrifice, to put themselves last in line. They are praised for exhaustion and applauded for stretching themselves thin. Yet somewhere along the path, there comes a shift, a moment when she realizes that peace is not a luxury, it is her birthright. She begins to see that she does not need to prove her strength by how much she suffers, but by how fiercely she protects her own well-being. Choosing peace over pressure is not weakness. It is not giving up, and it is not selfishness. It is an act of clarity, a declaration that her soul will no longer be drowned in noise. The woman who knows her worth understands that pressure may make diamonds, but it also crushes what is already fragile. She knows her spirit was not created to be ground down to dust, but to rise and to glow. So she learns to set boundaries, to guard her mind, and to honor her heart. She learns to say no to endless demands and yes to moments that nourish her. This is the power of her knowing. Peace gives her strength that pressure never could. When she is at peace, her thoughts are sharp and her vision is clear. She can see opportunities where others only see obstacles. She can listen with patience, respond with grace, and act with courage. Pressure clouds the mind, but peace steadies it. Pressure drains the body, but peace restores it. A woman who is at peace cannot be easily shaken because she has chosen to root herself in calm rather than chaos. The world may try to tell her that she is lazy for resting, uncommitted for slowing down, or unworthy for stepping back. But she has grown beyond those lies. She has learned that worth is not tied to the number of tasks completed in a day, but to the way she carries herself through life. She has learned that her presence is valuable even in silence. She has learned that her worth is not measured by endless sacrifice, but by the love she gives and the love she allows herself to receive. That knowledge frees her from the constant race of comparison, and in that freedom she shines. Peace over pressure also means choosing relationships that lift her, not drain her. It means keeping company with those who honor her spirit instead of those who diminish it. It means building a life not on fear of rejection, but on the certainty of her own belonging. She does not beg for a seat at the table. She creates her own table, and she welcomes others with open arms. She does not compete with others for approval, because she already knows that her worth does not depend on anyone's permission. She carries herself with quiet confidence, and that confidence becomes an anchor to others. When a woman chooses peace over pressure, she becomes a light. Her energy shifts and people around her feel it. She walks with dignity, speaks with intention, and listens with compassion. She becomes a model of what it looks like to live from wholeness rather than from fear. Others see her and are reminded that they, too, can release the weight of unnecessary pressure. They, too, can choose peace without apology. She leads without needing a crown. She inspires without needing a stage. Her very life becomes a living lesson. The power of this choice cannot be overstated. It is what allows her to wake each morning with strength and to rest each night with gratitude. It is what allows her to carry burdens without breaking, because she no longer carries more than she was meant to hold. It is what allows her to give to others from a place of fullness rather than from emptiness. Peace makes her strong, steady, and unshakable. Pressure may push her down, but peace lifts her up. So when the world demands more, she smiles and answers with wisdom. She chooses herself without apology. She protects her joy without hesitation, and she walks forward without fear. A woman who knows her worth will always choose peace over pressure because she understands that her true strength is born not from stress, but from serenity. And in that strength, she becomes unstoppable. True strength is found in calm, not in chaos. The world often teaches us the opposite. It tells women that to be strong, they must push harder, endure longer, and carry more than they were ever meant to bear. It celebrates those who never stop moving, those who stay busy even when their hearts are weary, those who sacrifice their peace in the name of survival. But strength that comes from chaos is fragile. It wavers when storms rise. It cracks under pressure. The woman who knows her worth understands that real strength does not shout, it does not flail, and it does not come from exhaustion. Real strength flows like a steady river, quiet but unstoppable, calm yet powerful enough to carve through stone. She has discovered that chaos cannot be the foundation of her life. Chaos brings confusion, and confusion makes her doubt her own voice. But when she chooses calm, she sees clearly. She is not swept away by noise or rushed into decisions that harm her. Calm allows her to stand her ground even when everything around her is shaking. Calm gives her the patience to wait for the right moment instead of grasping for what is not meant for her. Calm steadies her spirit and reminds her that storms may rage, but storms also pass. In calm, she finds the kind of strength that lasts. There is a power in stillness that chaos can never match. Stillness is not weakness. It is control, it is balance, it is wisdom. A woman who knows her worth understands that when she rests her mind, she reclaims her energy. When she centers her spirit, she sharpens her focus. When she remains calm in the face of trials, she commands respect without demanding it. She does not need to argue with every voice or fight every battle. Her calmness itself becomes a shield, and her peace becomes her greatest weapon. True strength does not need to prove itself loudly. The lioness does not roar every hour to remind the jungle who she is. She roars only when it matters, and her presence alone is enough to command attention. In the same way, a woman who is calm in her strength does not need to explain herself to the world. She does not need to bend herself to please others or to conform to their expectations. She carries her worth quietly yet firmly, and the world takes notice. People feel her energy when she walks into a room, not because she is stressed or striving, but because she is centered and sure of herself. Chaos often tempts us with the illusion of importance. It whispers that if we are not busy, we are not valuable. It tricks us into believing that stress is proof of purpose. But a woman who has awakened to her worth knows better. She understands that her value is not tied to constant motion, but to her presence and her peace. She chooses to step back when chaos calls her name, because she knows that stepping back does not mean stepping down. It means standing tall in her own rhythm, honoring her own pace, and protecting her own heart. When calmness is her foundation, she begins to inspire others without even trying. Her children, her friends, her sisters, her community all see her strength and begin to believe in their own. They notice how she does not crumble under pressure, not because she carries the heaviest load, but because she refuses to let stress define her. They notice how she chooses joy over frenzy, love over fear, rest over burnout. And in her example, they find permission to do the same. Calm makes her wise, calm makes her powerful, calm makes her free. She can face challenges with a steady gaze and an unshaken heart. She can listen without rushing to respond, love without fear of loss, and stand firm without trembling. Chaos may try to steal her peace, but she knows that true strength is not found in the storm. It is found in the quiet confidence that the storm will end, and she will still be standing. This is the power of a woman who knows her worth. She does not let chaos define her strength. She draws her power from calm, and in that calm she becomes unmovable, undeniable, and unbreakable. And that is the kind of strength the world cannot ignore. She says no without guilt and yes without fear. That simple truth is a declaration of freedom, a declaration of worth, and a declaration of power. For too long, women have been taught to say yes to everything and everyone, even at the cost of their own peace. They are told that pleasing others is the measure of their value. That sacrifice is their duty, that silence is their virtue. Yet the woman who knows her worth refuses to be bound by those expectations. She learns that every no she speaks is not rejection, but protection. And every yes she chooses is not surrender, but empowerment. To say no without guilt is to understand that boundaries are not walls. They are doors that open only to what is worthy. She does not owe her time, her energy, or her spirit to every demand placed upon her. She is not obligated to carry burdens that do not belong to her. She knows that saying no does not make her less kind, it makes her wise. It does not make her less giving, it makes her discerning. It does not make her selfish, it makes her whole. Each no is a statement that her peace matters, her health matters, her joy matters. And because she values herself, she does not allow guilt to creep in when she protects her spirit. At the same time, when she says yes, she says it with courage, not fear. Her yes is not forced by the weight of expectations. Her yes is not driven by the fear of being unloved or abandoned. Her yes is chosen from a place of strength. She says yes to opportunities that honor her growth. She says yes to relationships that uplift her soul. She says yes to dreams that once seemed too daring, too far away, too impossible. Her yes is not trembling, it is bold. It is the sound of a woman embracing her worth and stepping fully into her life. The beauty of this balance is that she is no longer pulled in every direction. She no longer feels the exhaustion of trying to please everyone and losing herself in the process. She no longer wears the mask of constant agreement while her heart silently breaks. She has learned that the people who truly love her will respect her no, and they will cherish her yes. She has learned that real connection is not built on her silence, but on her honesty. She has learned that her worth is not tied to being available for everyone, but to being true to herself. This strength changes the way she lives. When she says no without guilt, she creates space for rest, space for healing, space for joy. She is no longer stretched thin, she is whole. And when she says yes without fear, she steps into the fullness of her power. She dares to try, to dream, to love, to believe. She does not hold herself back out of doubt, and she does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. Her yes becomes a pathway to growth, to freedom, to fulfillment. Others notice this change. They see how her no does not come with bitterness, but with peace. They see how her yes does not come with hesitation, but with certainty. They admire her strength, even if they do not always understand it. And through her example, they learn that they too can draw boundaries without apology and embrace opportunities without fear. Her life becomes a reminder that it is possible to live from a place of freedom instead of fear, from worth instead of worry. The power of knowing when to say no and when to say yes cannot be overstated. It is the foundation of her strength, the guard of her peace, the key to her freedom. With every no, she chooses herself. With every yes, she embraces life. And in doing so, she shows the world that a woman who knows her worth is unshackable, unstoppable, and unafraid. Her silence carries more power than empty noise. This truth is often misunderstood in a world that glorifies constant chatter, endless arguments, and the rush to speak before listening. Many mistake silence for weakness, assuming that if a woman is quiet, she has nothing to say. But the woman who knows her worth understands that silence is not emptiness. Silence is depth. Silence is choice. Silence is strength. When she holds her tongue, it is not because she lacks words, but because she knows her words carry weight and should not be wasted on ears that will not hear. In silence, she gathers her thoughts. In silence, she listens to the whispers of her own soul. In silence, she draws strength that noise can never provide. Others may speak endlessly, filling rooms with sound that means little, but her quiet presence commands attention. People notice when she speaks because they have learned that her voice does not rise without reason. They respect her silence because it speaks of confidence, of control, of clarity. She is not pressed to defend herself in every battle, nor is she compelled to prove herself in every moment. Her silence is her proof. Her silence is her shield. There is also wisdom in her silence. She understands that not every question deserves an answer, not every insult deserves a reply, and not every situation deserves her energy. By choosing silence, she chooses peace. By choosing silence, she chooses dignity. By choosing silence, she refuses to let others pull her into chaos. She knows that noise often comes from insecurity, but silence flows from assurance. And she is assured of who she is, what she stands for, and where she is going. Her silence is not absence, it is presence. It is a reminder that strength does not always shout. Just as the ocean is strongest in its depth, and not only in its waves, she is strongest in the stillness of her being. Her silence allows her to observe, to understand, and to rise above the noise around her. When others argue without purpose, she listens with patience. When others boast without reason, she stands with humility. When others fill the air with fear, she breathes out calm. Her silence sets her apart, and in that quietness, her worth becomes undeniable. There are moments when her silence becomes louder than words ever could. When she walks away from disrespect without explanation, her silence declares her strength. When she chooses not to beg for love that is not freely given, her silence declares her dignity. When she refuses to lower herself to match another's anger, her silence declares her peace. These choices speak volumes, louder than shouting, louder than pleading, louder than trying to be understood by those who will never see her. Her silence is not retreat, it is victory. And yet, when she chooses to break her silence, her words hold power. People lean in, people listen, people feel the weight of her voice. She does not scatter her words carelessly, she plants them like seeds. And because she is not always speaking, her words bloom in the minds and hearts of those who hear them. Her silence gives her speech its value, and her speech gives her silence its meaning. She embodies the balance that so many seek but few find, the balance of knowing when to be still and when to rise. Others begin to learn from her example. They see how she does not waste herself in endless arguments or in proving her worth. They see how she carries herself with quiet dignity, and they feel the strength of her presence. They come to realize that silence can be more powerful than noise, that restraint can be more commanding than reaction, that peace can be more influential than pressure. Her way of being becomes a light that guides others toward their own strength. A woman who knows her worth understands that her silence is not emptiness but fullness. It is not weakness but strength. It is not submission but power. She is not defined by the noise around her, but by the calm within her. And in that calm, she finds the kind of power that does not need to be explained because it is already known. She is rooted in self-respect and unshaken by doubt. This is the quiet foundation that gives her the strength to stand tall no matter what storms may come. A woman who knows her worth does not build her identity on the shifting sands of opinions or the fleeting applause of others. She has planted herself deep in the soil of self-respect, and from that soil she grows unmovable, steady, and whole. Her roots go down into truth, and because of this, she is not easily swayed when winds of doubt or criticism blow against her. Self-respect is not given by others, it is chosen within. She does not wait for the world to tell her she is worthy because she already knows it. She does not measure her value by titles, possessions, or the approval of strangers. She measures it by the way she treats herself, by the way she honors her spirit, by the way she protects her peace. To be rooted in self-respect means she no longer tolerates what diminishes her. She no longer accepts being treated as less than she is. She no longer bends herself to please those who only seek to use her strength. She rises with dignity, and that dignity becomes her shield. Because she respects herself, doubt cannot easily break her. Doubt may whisper that she is not enough, but she answers with the truth of her worth. Doubt may try to make her question her path, but she walks forward with quiet confidence. Doubt may tell her to shrink, but her roots remind her that she was born to rise. The woman who knows her worth understands that doubt is a visitor, not a master. It may come knocking, but it will never stay because her self-respect will not allow it a home. Her strength is not loud, but it is steady. She can walk away from what does not honor her, not because she lacks love, but because she loves herself enough to let go. She can stand alone if she must, not because she wants to be apart, but because she refuses to stand in spaces that diminish her. She does not chase validation, for she has already validated herself. She does not beg for acceptance, because she has already accepted herself. This rootedness makes her strong in ways that the world cannot always understand, but cannot help but admire. When she is rooted in self-respect, she no longer seeks to compare herself with others. She knows that her journey is her own. Her pace is her own. Her blessings are her own. She celebrates others without envy because she is secure in who she is. She does not feel the need to compete for love or attention because she knows love flows more freely when it is not forced. She does not crumble when overlooked because her worth is not defined by who notices her. This calm assurance frees her from the endless cycle of proving herself, and in that freedom she shines. Her self-respect also transforms the way others treat her. People learn that they cannot cross the boundaries she has set because she does not compromise them for the sake of approval. They learn that her kindness is not weakness, her patience is not permission, and her silence is not surrender. They learn to meet her with respect because she respects herself too deeply to accept anything less. Her presence alone teaches others how to approach her, and her example teaches them how to approach themselves. This rootedness also gives her courage to face challenges with grace. She may stumble, but she does not fall apart. She may cry, but she does not collapse. She may be shaken, but she is never broken. Her roots hold her steady when life tests her, and because she knows who she is, she never loses herself in the struggle. She emerges from hardship not smaller, but stronger. She emerges not bitter, but wiser. She emerges not defeated, but more certain of her worth. The power of being rooted in self-respect is that it makes her unshakable by doubt. She no longer asks, "Am I enough?" She knows she is. She no longer waits for someone to choose her. She has already chosen herself. And because she stands in this truth, nothing and no one can take it away. Her presence lifts others because she first lifted herself. There is something magnetic about a woman who knows her worth, something in the way she walks into a room carrying light, even when she says nothing at all. That light does not come from luck, nor from the world handing her ease. It comes from the inner work she has done to rise from her own struggles, to heal her own wounds, to embrace her own worth. Because she has lifted herself, she becomes a force of encouragement to those around her. Her presence alone reminds others that they too can rise. A woman who lifts herself does not wait for someone else to validate her, to rescue her, or to remind her of her power. She has learned to reach deep within when the world gave her nothing but silence. She has learned to speak love over herself when no one else did. She has learned to rebuild her confidence brick by brick until her foundation became unshakable. This is why her presence carries so much strength. She is not pouring from emptiness. She is overflowing from fullness. When she enters a space, people feel it. They feel calmer, stronger, braver, simply because she carries calm, strength, and bravery within her. She does not need to announce her power. It radiates from the way she stands, the way she listens, the way she simply exists. She inspires not by trying to impress, but by being whole. And because she has taken the time to lift herself out of despair, her empathy runs deep. She knows how it feels to be broken, so she extends her hand to help others rise. She knows how it feels to doubt, so she speaks words that remind others of their worth. She knows what it takes to fight through the dark, so she becomes a lantern for those still searching for the light. Her presence uplifts because it is honest. She does not pretend life has been perfect. She does not wear masks to hide her scars. Instead, she shows that scars can be proof of survival, proof of strength, proof of beauty. She shows that brokenness can be mended and that despair can be turned into hope. People trust her presence because it carries authenticity. They know she is not lifting them from a place of arrogance, but from a place of shared humanity. Her story becomes a bridge, and through that bridge, others find the courage to walk forward. Lifting herself first was not easy. It meant facing her fears instead of running from them. It meant choosing healing over denial, growth over comfort, and truth over lies. It meant learning to be her own encourager, her own advocate, her own safe place. But in choosing this path, she discovered freedom. She no longer waits for someone to fix her. She no longer clings to external approval to feel valuable. She knows that she has the power to rise, and because of this, she gives that same power to others through her example. Her presence lifts because she lives in abundance, not in scarcity. She does not fear that lifting others will make her smaller. She knows that love, kindness, and encouragement multiply when given away. She knows that the success of another woman does not diminish her own, but adds to the collective strength of all. And because she has already filled her own cup, she can pour into others without resentment, without exhaustion, without regret. Her giving comes from joy, not obligation. Her support comes from freedom, not pressure. Those who meet her are often changed without even realizing it. A conversation with her may leave them braver. A glance of her confidence may remind them of their own. A moment in her presence may shift the way they see themselves. This is her quiet power. She does not control or demand. She simply is. And in being, she uplifts. Her worth radiates, not as pride, but as possibility. She proves that it is possible to be strong without stress, to be powerful without noise, to be rooted without fear. She proves that a woman who lifts herself is not only transformed, but becomes a source of transformation for those around her. And in doing so, she leaves every space better than she found it. She shines by being whole, not by being overwhelmed. This is the beauty of a woman who has embraced her worth, for she no longer equates exhaustion with achievement or struggle with strength. She has learned that her light was never meant to flicker under the weight of constant pressure. Her light shines brightest when she is whole, when she is centered, when she chooses to live fully rather than merely survive. Wholeness is her crown, and it is in wearing it that she radiates with a brilliance that cannot be dimmed. Being whole means she does not tear herself into pieces to meet expectations. She does not try to be everything for everyone at the expense of herself. She does not confuse endless sacrifice with love, nor does she mistake business for purpose. She has gathered the scattered pieces of herself, the dreams she once buried, the confidence she once doubted, the voice she once silenced, and she has brought them back together. In doing so, she has found her completeness. And it is from this place of wholeness that she shines, not from exhaustion, not from burnout, not from the endless striving that leaves so many drained. Overwhelm is not her identity anymore. She has lived in that space before, where her days blurred into one another, where she poured out until she was empty, where she tried to meet every demand but lost sight of her own soul. She knows the heaviness of that burden, but she also knows the freedom of letting it go. She has chosen to step away from overwhelm and into balance. She has chosen to release what was never hers, to carry and to embrace what truly belongs to her. Peace, joy, strength, and love. That choice is what makes her radiant. Wholeness also means she embraces every part of herself. She does not deny her past. She learns from it. She does not hide her flaws. She accepts them as part of her humanity. She does not chase perfection because she knows perfection is an illusion. Instead, she honors her journey, her resilience, her becoming. By embracing herself fully, she no longer seeks completion from others. She does not wait for someone else to validate her worth or to fill her gaps. She is already complete, already valuable, already enough. That fullness is what makes her presence so luminous. When a woman is whole, she gives from abundance rather than from depletion. She loves freely because she is not afraid of losing herself in love. She supports others without resentment because she is not neglecting herself to do so. She works with passion but also rests with grace, knowing that both are equally important. This balance allows her to shine steadily, like a flame that does not burn out but burns bright and warm. She is proof that true strength is sustainable when it comes from wholeness, not from overwhelm. Her wholeness becomes a gift to others. People are drawn to her calm, to her joy, to her steady energy. They notice how she walks with ease, how she speaks with clarity, how she lives with purpose. They notice that she does not carry herself like someone weighed down, but like someone who has released the burdens that once tried to silence her. She becomes an example, showing others that they too can step out of overwhelm and into wholeness. She shines not to outshine others, but to remind them that they have their own light waiting to be uncovered. And in her shining, she proves that worth is not measured by struggle. Worth is not found in how much one can endure, but in how one chooses to live. She shines by being whole, by standing in her truth, by honoring her spirit, by embracing her worth. And it is in that wholeness that she reveals the true power of a woman who knows her value, a power that no stress, no burden, no doubt can ever take away. A woman who knows her worth is a force the world cannot shake. She is strong, not stressed. She is calm, not chaotic. She is rooted, not restless. Her silence carries power, her presence uplifts, and her wholeness shines brighter than any struggle ever could. She has learned to say no without guilt and yes without fear, to protect her peace without apology, and to live from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Such a woman does not just survive. She inspires, she uplifts, she transforms. And let us be reminded that this power is not limited to one woman, but lives in all women who dare to honor themselves, who dare to choose peace, who dare to claim their worth. The world needs women who are whole, women who are calm, women who walk in their truth. The world needs you. So I leave you with this: stand tall in your worth, shine in your wholeness, and walk boldly in the strength that was always yours. May you never confuse stress with strength. May you always honor your peace. And may you light the way for others as you rise. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for allowing me to share these words with you.